Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I get to welcome you to a wonderful Wednesday, y'all. Really excited for my guest who's in the building. As always, this excitement, y'all, it never fades for me, okay? But today we got Amy Lambert in the building, the director and choreographer of This Is a Drama Comedy that is showing right now at 12th Avenue Arts. And I gotta tell y'all, we're gonna be diving into it because I did get to see the show. And so I'm so excited that Amy is here to join me, but I'm also excited that you're joining me because this is the top of the show where you get to help us grow by sharing this show with others who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness we give you here on the Day with Trae. And you know, if you can't watch us, that's okay because you can always listen to us, right? That's another option for you in this world of technology. Just go ahead and search for Converge Media Network and the Day with Trae anywhere you find your favorite podcast, and you will find us there. Well, before I get into it with Amy, I gotta tell y'all that I am so excited about the amazing artistry that is happening not only within our city, but within the Pacific Northwest in this region. You know, we often sometimes get a bad rap, okay? That like, hey, there ain't nothing going on over there. You know, we're not a hot market like New York, LA, or Atlanta or something. And I am so grateful because being here, having been in all those other cities, I recognize that we have such an amazing art scene here. And it's phenomenal because of its concentration of it. So I'll tell you, from all the way in Eastern Washington to Western Washington, we have phenomenal artwork that is happening, whether it's live performances, art shows, book signings. I mean, you name it, there are some great people here in the Pacific Northwest that are contributing to our community and to the things that we get to go and visit and patron and learn from and enjoy and participate in. It's so amazing. And I just got to give a shout out to the venues. I've been doing this recently, but I recognize that without them, you know, these amazing works of art would have nowhere to go. And so huge shout out to all of our venue spaces for having space for our amazing artistry to flourish. And one thing that I know is clear, we all experienced this during the pandemic. A shutdown of venues meant, where are we going for art? There was such a void there that then got filled because we're innovators, right? We love to create out of nothing. And I appreciate everyone who said, well, I'm gonna take my art online, right? And opened up, I mean, we probably got just inundated with Zoom opportunities to participate in art. But the beauty is that the innovation never ceased. And that is something that art has been carrying forward for centuries. So while you're, trying to figure out what are we gonna do? What kind of show do we wanna go see? Trust and believe there's so many different shows. If you're following venues specifically, you'll always be in the know. So I'm encouraging you now, get your list of venues out, whether it is 12th Avenue Arts, like what we're going to be talking about today, or a major venue like Paramount Theater. There's so many different dope spots all in between there, different sizes that are catering to various forms of art. So if you are somebody who's looking for that, maybe you just moved here and you don't know exactly where to find things, there's definitely some phenomenal hubs like Hey Black Seattle that you could go to learn more, but there's also a way to just follow venues specifically. And if you just search venues in the Pacific Northwest and the PNW, it'll pull up an amazing list that then you can find yourself at one of these amazing days to take in a great show. So I'm just encouraging you to not only be thinking about the big venues, but some of the small venues have some of the greatest works of art, y'all. And I promise you will not be disappointed. Well, of course, after this short break, up next, we got Amy Lambert in the building. I'm going to be talking to her about this incredible work of art that she has put together. And it has been years in the making, y'all. So I'm so excited to dive in with her. Stay tuned after this break, because I promise you, you don't want to miss it. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Getting the scholarship really changed the conversation. It went from, no, I can do school in my free time and make it work, to I could only focus on school and I could be the best I can be every single day. I can soak up everything. I can read before class and make sure I'm not just learning enough to pass a test. Like, I could really pour all my time into school. That's what having a Seattle College Foundation Scholarship did for me.
Empowering the community one connection at a time. ConnectWA is your partner in finding the support you need. Download the app today and experience the difference that a connected community can make. Learn more at eec-wa.org/connectwa-app.
Hey, what up, everybody? Truth Talks is one of the hottest shows streaming, and we're expanding. You can catch all the tea live and unedited Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and again at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Dive into the truths you need to hear, from pop culture to politics, and some of the biggest celebrity exclusives.
I wrote the song in the car.
Get out the way. That was my theme song.
Set your reminder to catch us live on Fox Soul or binge watch on YouTube/Fox Soul.
Ready to be intentional with your spending? Whether you're gifting it or using it for yourself, the Buy Black card allows you to shop at many different Black-owned businesses across the greater Seattle area, like Love a Latte, Dramer Ice Cream, Motis Beauty Supply, Pizza by Ruffin, The Spa House by Queen Care, and so many more. You can see the full list of participating businesses when you sign up for your Buy Black card at intentionalist.com. And thanks to our friends at BECU, you'll save 20% when you load your card. Spend like it matters with the Buy Black card.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now, we got Amy Lambert in the building. Hi, Amy.
Hi, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here. And it's so always amazing for me, because we do all this stuff behind the scenes to make sure you come and you got the show booked. But it's so great to be able to see your work of art after like reading up about it and learning more about it. Tell us what got you started in the world of dance.
I started dancing when I was quite young. I have an older sister who had a friend who was in dance classes. And so we were both enrolled, and little, like 3-4 years old, doing hula and tap dance. And then it was an after school activity. My mom really believed that we were better busy than in trouble. And so we were enrolled in dance classes after school, and we did that for years and years and years. And my love for it just really developed. I was fortunate to grow up at a dance school that was more about letting people belong and motivating people to approach dance as the best self. That instilled a love of dance for me. So regardless of whatever level or talent I was as a youth, as a child, that I felt like I belonged. And that has given me a lot of backbone moving through more challenging times of my career, like knowing, oh, no, I do belong. It is 100% just perspective and the way that you're framing what the space is for. So that's how I got into dancing as a young girl, and then decided to pursue it. And in college, I came up to Seattle to go to Cornish. And sort of the rest is history. I just kept going. It's kind of amazing what can happen when you stick with something. And there are lots of circumstances why someone would step away from a career in the arts that are also valid, including like interest changing. But I am stubborn. I'm stubborn, and I loved it. And it was hard. I liked that it was hard in lots of ways. And so I've stuck with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that it's always special for me because the growth, right? You're talking about from a young person, you were in dance class and then you stuck with it, and the perseverance and tenacity that it takes, because dance is so open and yet some folks from the outside see it as very restrictive, right? What I love is that dance is just another form of expression. And it's clear that somewhere in that journey that you really experienced, wait, this is really about expressing myself. Can you tell us about when that really clicked for you?
For me, that really clicked when I was early 20s and I was dancing for other people, and I was loving being the messenger, being the vessel, taking on someone else's ideas and trying to make it come to life. But I was sitting in rehearsals and feeling like I had other answers to give. I had more to give, and I wanted to be in control of how I offered what I wanted to offer. And so it was really when I started choreographing that it was really empowering. I had a lot of agency, and it was the first time that I wanted to really put myself in the dance work and not just thinking beyond just the joy I was having being a part of it. Like, I wanted to share something else, and I can do that. And it helped to do that as a choreographer rather than a performer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something too that's special about the choreographer eye when you've been a performer. And oftentimes, choreography takes that track, right? Like, you've got to do it in order to visualize how you want bodies to move on any stage, right? Or any platform. And so I appreciate that, because I see that as almost like a necessary piece of it in terms of the authenticity that the audience is experiencing. So, clearly this is a drama comedy, right? Like, you brought that through, and this is something that took a long time to really come through. In your program, you talk about starting this in 2019.
Yeah.
So just give us a bit of that history here, what it took to really produce this particular production.
I first had the idea in 2019, and it kind of came to me out of the blue. At that time, I had just done another evening length show, another hour-long show. It was about something, in a lot of ways, something totally different, in some ways kind of the same questions of like belonging in community and asking yourself, like, what is the purpose of what we're doing? That seems to be a theme that's running through my work as the years progress, and it's showing up in different ways because it just does show up in different ways. So I was coming out of doing another long show and loved that show, but as I was watching in the theater, I was seeing moments where because I was able to finally step away from the rehearsal process, wished I had done certain things differently. The show itself was great, but I could see with some distance that some scenes needed to have been rehearsed differently, that what I wanted to say was almost there, but not quite as clear as I was hoping, which is a funny thing to say because dance is so abstract, which is why I love it. Sometimes I'm so terrified of putting things in words and the cement that words can create. So I love that dance can be more fluid in its interpretation, but I saw things that as an artist and a creator, I wanted to work towards to handle it differently and see if I could really stretch and push my skill to achieve that. So I had that kind of turning in my head, and then all of a sudden I had this image of clowns climbing up a volcano, jumping in, and then coming out the bottom and having to do it again, and sort of like this arduous rigor of over and over and over and over again. A couple months later, I realized I was actually beginning burnout in my career. And so that repetition, that ritual, that rigor, that like, I want to be climbing this mountain. I've chosen to climb this mountain. And then at the end of it, didn't make any difference. I'm gonna get in line again, I'm gonna do it again, and then do it again. That rigor is really important, I think, in life. Like, we need to be willing for the things we want to attempt multiple times, to show up multiple times, regardless of if the outcome has shifted. If it's something we believe in, I think it needs that kind of rigor still. like it shouldn't be reward based, but at some point it wears you down, and it should rightfully ask you, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of this? And I was asking myself that in my own career and my own creative work, because I liked the hardness of the work, but it also was wearing me down. I didn't know if it was filling me the way it used to fill me. And then that burnout sort of coincided with the pandemic happening, and it was good because I actually got to rest more. There was less work to take. So I had more rest and more space. But the work that still existed got even harder. It was even more isolating than it was before to be offering arts education, dance access online, even in person with the masks, and like masks fully should be in our society, in our spaces as needed. But it was additionally isolating when I was already feeling isolated and drawn down. But I kept going. But I was asking myself all of those same questions. Why? What is the purpose? Really grappling with the dual feeling of knowing that it was like such a privilege to be able to offer these spaces to people, especially in a time of isolation for others. But as I was opening doors for others to come in, I was closing doors on myself in order to offer that. It all just comes back to that imagery of like, why are we choosing to go through these cycles? And the cycle can be good. A lot of the cycle is like, I made a choice to change, and it is fitting me again. And some of them you let go.
Yeah.
Some of them you let go.
Yeah.
This is probably the most personal of my work that I've ever made, but I don't want it to be about me. I really don't want it to be about me. And one of my wishes is that people are seeing themselves in this work, and that there's a relatability to it, because in the end of the day, we're living in a similar universe.
Yeah.
We all have different experiences, but like we're existing as humans together.
Well, it's so funny that you say that, because, honestly, from the crowd, I could hear people like verbally saying, especially at the end, they're like, wow, that's me, like, I get it. Like, oh my God, yeah. And it was great because it wasn't only dance. You had some dialogue in there, and while it was brief, it was also really profound, and showcased this range of how people show up in a communal type of space, and they want to project something, and yet what's really happening is something else at times. And so how people grapple with that, it was very profound. And my sister and I went to the show, and so we were talking about that, like how there was this the verbal piece for both of us really set some things in stone in terms of how people show up. And it was such a reflection of what you may get in any type of group, right? Friend, family, coworker, colleague, community, like you may get that in any type of group because people want to show up a certain way. But it is oftentimes there is something that is taking place with every person when you think about this kind of rigmarole that we're going through. So I really appreciated it. It was one of those works of art that had very strong direction, but it was so creative, right? That you got to experience these different levels all at the same time. So kudos to you. I see why it took some time to birth this. But when you think of, you said you want the audience to kind of walk away understanding that. What is another thing you really want the audience to take from this body of work?
Art and performance can serve a lot of needs, and it's not always it doesn't always have to be entertaining, but life is hard always and right now. And another thing I hope for people that they're taking away from it is that they are, for that 1 hour, they're there for the show, that they're finding a little bit of joy and they're finding a little bit of tenderness for themselves. Yeah, the work I make, I'm attempting to make it a vehicle where people are enjoying what they're seeing.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I walked away with so many different thoughts in such a good way, right? Like, it was a work of art that really had me doing some self-reflection, which is something that I was like, I wonder if Amy intentionally did that, because like, I felt like people were talking after, and so many conversations were like, oh my gosh, you know, like that one part or this part, like how it struck me, like, oh my gosh, that was me dealing with this one situation in my life. Like, just the barrage of conversation that was happening, it was so clear that everyone kind of walked away with this like self-reflective piece in the work. And so when you think of this name though, I mean, this title has you know, a story and journey all of its own, because on the program it says this is a drama comedy, but drama is scratched out. Just tell us a bit about what had you go for this particular name.
I love the duality of tragedy and comedy, like that classic storyline. I am really drawn to that in general. You'll see it in other places in my work. And I love the reality that the drama exists, the tragedy exists, but a way you can approach it is through comedy. And there's so much healing in comedy, whether it's like in a group or like you choosing yourself to like reframe what's happening. There's just significant power in it. So I wanted to keep the word drama on the page because it's not fair to pretend it's not there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make a different choice. At the end of the day, I'm always gonna make a different choice. I wanna laugh at the end of the day, even if I wanna cry.
Yeah.
I wanna cry and laugh.
Well, you've done such a great job of just juxtaposing drama and comedy in this piece, and I really was, I walked away and I was like, wow, you know, I didn't know what to expect, which is what I love. I love going into a show kind of blindly, and not knowing like, what is this? And yet it was so impactful. And so kudos to you and all of the amazing dancers, because it was, you could see that they were coming from this inner place. Every time that they would emote on their face, and with the connection of the movement. It was done really well, Amy. So kudos to you. Of course, if folks are still trying to come and see it, if they're trying to follow you, I got to give you time before I let you go to make sure people know exactly how to follow you and how to come and see this show. Let them know right there.
This one here?
Yeah, that one right there.
You can learn more about our show, This is a Drama Comedy by RicketySticks Dance Theater, by going to our website, www.amyjlambert.com, in our Instagram handle @RicketySticks Dance Theater. And yeah, our Instagram handle is really active. That's a great place. We still have tickets for sale next weekend. We would love for everyone to come visit us.
There it is. Amy, thanks so much for joining me today, and thank you for putting this work together and pouring yourself into it so authentically. I definitely felt it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Y'all, I'm telling you, art is something phenomenal. I'm going to wrap all of this amazingness up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Waitress, the hit Broadway musical baked from the heart, is coming to Fifth Avenue Theater. This little slice of heaven musical offers a special recipe for finding happiness in unexpected places. With original music by Grammy Award winner Sarah Bareilles, this musical is a dash of dreams and a pinch of heart baked to perfection. Don't miss this brand new production. Get a taste of this delicious musical March 11th through 30th. Order up at fifthavenue.org and satisfy your sweet tooth with the most delectable show of the season. Make plans now to get a little slice of this perfect musical today.
Getting the scholarship really changed the conversation. It went from, no, I can do school in my free time and make it work, to I could only focus on school, and I could be the best I can be every single day. I can soak up everything. I can read before class and make sure I'm not just learning enough to pass the test, like I could really pour all my time into school. That's what having a Seattle College Foundation Scholarship did for me.
Have you heard? Everyone living in Washington State can buy health insurance regardless of immigration status. Call 1-855-923-4633 to find out your option through Washington Health Plan Finder. The call is free, safe, and secure, and getting health insurance will not affect your immigration status. Give us a call today.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Wow, it was so great to dive in deep with Amy today and learn more about not only how This Is a Drama Comedy was created, but also how there's these layers of intersectionality that are happening on the stage in terms of the feeling of grinding hard for your goals, of having to do it over and over again, of choosing to do it every time. There's just so much to take out of this show, y'all. So make sure you go to the website, get your tickets today. This was one for me that will stand out because we often don't understand that dance as a storytelling format has something so unique and intricate in the ways that movement reflects emotion. And so I gotta tell you, the facial expressions, the mixture of comedy and drama and all of it happening at one time, this was something that you'll walk away probably having some self-reflective moments just like I did. So I'm encouraging you to go and check out this phenomenal show and follow RicketySticks Dance Theater as they are doing some amazing work to bring these kinds of eclectic ideas to stages near you. So you definitely don't want to miss out. And I get to thank you for joining me on this wonderful Wednesday. Y'all know I got y'all tomorrow as well. And until then at 11 a.m., y'all, peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.